This is how you do the open house.
Hello,
everybody. What? Woohoo! And
We have,
signs.
we have
God.
directionals that are on both sides. So they are free to use for anybody.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, where are the stakes?
Oh, they're just in there.
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, so we
That's
have
amazing.
we have like
Amazing.
50 of them, I think. So next time that Doug is in town, he's going to probably grab about maybe 20 or so to give to the Johnstown and Altoona office. It just has our main front desk phone number on it, just so it's pretty generic, and it says KW exclusive. But yeah, so if anyone ever wants one of these when they're doing an open house, feel free to stop by the office and just ask me, and I can get you set up with some.
And you should have people sign in and out so that,
yes. Yeah.
Smart. Okay.
Yeah. These were, I surprisingly got them on a deal.
Yeah.
But also I'm not about to lose 50 signs. So
Yeah, no, it's totally, because honestly, sometimes even with lockboxes and stuff, as an agent, oh wait, I have to go this way. As an agent, we don't even realize that we have them out. Because I had,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
what's his name?
Which one? The plenty that I collected.
No, our guy who bought the hustler, the investor, he said the one on Beechwood, it's still on there 2 years later, which I didn't, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That one belongs to Wexford.
Oh, well.
HY. Okay, can everybody?
Then they can't see it. Not slowly.
Well, I didn't want to
Flip
like.
it over.
Right here.
Yeah, there we go.
Hello. Okay. Are we ready? Should we get started? 2 more minutes. I should just get started.
Will you send out an email just so they can open it?
I don't think you asked Alana.
Andy, Lisa, do you have any PDF documents to go along with what we're teaching today? Or what Jordana's teaching today?
I like that we. It's a good document.
She wanna send them out.
All right, yeah, she'll send them to you. We got some papers.
Yeah, I don't have them.
You don't have some, Lucas?
No,
All right, we'll get them sent out.
Yeah.
thank you.
Wanna send them?
There you go.
You have somebody waiting. for you.
Oh, someone's waiting.
Oh, I'll get them.
And, what did I say, Sharika?
Shanika.
Shanika.
Clem Oliverson?
Oliverson, yep.
Alana?
Okay. Oh, and Andrew Lush.
Andrew Lesh.
Wow.
You know what, just send a mass email.
Right. No, because you know what? I
Hi,
agree. Some
everybody.
people, they might not be able to come, but they can still use this stuff. Yeah, send this, and actually I found this online, so it wasn't. Okay, so we should wait. Hello, everybody. So we'll wait. Oh, it's noon. And as Reggie would say, Reggie doesn't like to wait.
Yep,
Mhm.
so let's
Gotta
go.
start on time, right, Amanda? Okay, hello, everybody. Welcome. If you don't know me, I'm Jordana, and I've been in the business 18 years. I know I look too young to be in the business that long. Don't laugh, Jayla. I hear Jayla laughing at me. It's okay, Jayla. Like Jayla can laugh. I'm real. Okay, but it does go fast. It's true. It doesn't feel like it because I really love what I do, and every transaction is different. Every person's different. So it does not feel like that long. So I had brought up in one of the meetings about open houses because I was very concerned. You guys hear me okay?
That's the mic.
Oh, that's the mic?
You gotta put it as close as possible.
Okay, and if you can't hear me, let me know. But I was very concerned that people were doing open houses and not having the tools that they needed. At which point Alana said, will you teach a class then? And she asked me a few times, so I agreed. So I'm happy to help. I will tell you guys a few things. There's no right or wrong way to do a lot of the things in this business. There's the way that there's some basic things that you need, and then there's the ways that you feel comfortable doing things. I also want to mention, if you really want to get more into open houses, that I have a friend in Ronnie DiCarlo in Orlando, and he used to run a casino in New Jersey. So he knows how to get people, he knows how to entertain people, and he is really good at open houses. And he has a call coming on that you can get on Zoom on the 28th. And I have another friend, Marilyn Burke, she's one of Jayla's buddies, and she's also very good at open houses. She's in Boston. So if you want like the more advanced, where people are like, I love open houses, then you should take those classes too. So mine is going to be more of a basic, because the other thing I want to say is we all have strengths, and you learn over time what your strengths are and how you like to get business. So some people, like with Keller Williams, a lot of times we say, come from contribution, network. But the truth is some people don't like that. And there are plenty of people who don't do that, who are also very, very successful. So I don't believe in one size fits all model. There's different people who like different styles of doing things, and the why they do it is different. So, and the reason I bring that up is some people with open houses, you know, they say, oh, I pick up at least 1 or 2 buyers or sellers at every open house. And you might have done open house going, I did 10 and I didn't pick anybody up. And it's like, okay, but maybe what you're doing and what they're doing, you're not as comfortable doing. And that's okay. Find what tools you can use to help you. So first of all, the very first step, which is really important, is having signs. So as Alana said, there are signs here, and having those directional signs, you know, you want to obviously put a sign in front of the house, and you want some signs in front, you know, like if you're on a busier road, if, you know, you're just starting out, you don't want to spend the money, use the ones that are here. But eventually, if you really want to be a known agent in your area, get the signs with your face, the custom made ones, because at the end of the day, a lot of it is name recognition. I like to think about Edgar Snyder, although you don't see his face on the bus stops quite as much anymore. But I mean, people would say, well, did they get that business from the bus stop? They didn't get the business from the bus stop. They got the business from the name recognition and seeing the name over and over and over again, right? So you didn't call Edgar Snyder just because you happened to take the bus. You saw Edgar Snyder on TV, you saw him here, you saw him there. And so as you get more into it, you should get custom signs. But for right now, at minimum, you should just borrow signs here. And if there are no signs here, ask other agents, you know, ask the agent that you're doing the listing, the open house for. Don't be afraid to ask. It's really, really important. And it's not just important from the perspective of so people know where to go, because nowadays you're going to go on Zillow and you're going to find out where the open house. It's also just a matter of being a professional, right? Looking like you made an effort. Like sometimes if you're not sure, drive around sometime on a Saturday and Sunday, see what really stands out to you. Do you see somebody's open house like, wow, that stood out, and that one looks kind of sad? I mean, sometimes, you know what I'm talking about. Like there's times I'm not doing an open house one day and I'm going, that sign looks sad. The whole thing looks sad. And then there's other times you go, wow, this person, you can feel the energy of this person's excited to do the open house. And I think
I'm gonna say Michelle got
and Michelle,
Oh, yeah.
she got
but you know, right. And by doing that, honestly, the excitement, it brings the excitement to you too. So when people come in, you're excited. Because what happens otherwise, at least I've found, is like, especially when it gets slow, it's like, I had other things I wanted to do on Sunday. Why am I here? Why am I even here? Like, I'm not getting paid. Some people go, are you gonna pay me to do this open house? I'm not getting paid. Nobody came. Why am I wasting my Sunday? I could be with family, I could be with friends, I could be taking a nap, I could do a gazillion other things. So why am I here? So, and we'll get into that a little bit too, but I wanted to, you guys have this open house to level 7. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't do all these things every time, but do as much of these as you can. So do you guys have this printout then? Okay, so signs in the yard is number 1. You got balloons, put balloons on. Do I put balloons on? I'm not gonna lie. I mean, sometimes I'll do 2, 3 open houses on a weekend. I'm tired. I don't put the balloons on. But again, it's a talk going back to that energy, the balloon. Does that get you excited? Level 3, directional signs at all key corners with balloons. Again, key corners. And especially like, let's just say, you know what? I want people in Penn Hills to know who I am. And I have a name writer. Every weekend I do open houses in Penn Hills. They see my name, they'll see my name on Frankstown Boulevard, Frankstown every weekend. I mean, so, if there's an area you feel really good about that you want to do a lot of business in, then you really want to make sure that your signs. Now, there is an agent in Fox Chapel, Berkshire, and she has like 50 signs, and she puts them all over the place, and she has people who put them out, and she does very well. You can do this. I mean, listen, you're going to have naysayers. You're going to have the other agent, oh my God, did you believe it? She put out 50 signs. Well, good for her, and she's extremely successful. But you have to decide, is that what you want to do? You want to have your 50 signs out, you're going to have to put them out. You're going to have to pick them up. So it's a lot. It's, it's work. It's work. There's no doubt about it. It's not, if you're thinking, well, I'm doing an open house 1 to 3 on Sunday, it's not 1 to 3. You got to do a lot of work before, and you got to do a lot of work after. And you cannot just expect, well, oh, geez, I didn't get a buyer. I didn't get a seller. You got to look in this business. You got to look at the big picture all the time. You can't just look at the little picture. Okay, so we're at level 3. Level 4 is you got to sign the yard, sign and ballot, and the yard with the balloons and rider, directionals, flyers the week before, email interviews, and posts on website. Now, one thing, because this is a little bit older, I'm really big on Facebook Live and I've had people before say to me, no one's come to my open house. I'm like, and you guys know because you've all heard it. Are you doing a Facebook Live? Because here's the thing, and here's the thing about the open house. It's not just about who you pick up at that open house. It's about the people in your sphere watching. Again, same thing with the sign, right? So they're going, wow, she's at a house it might not even be your house. It's not your listing. But they're going, wow, you're everywhere. You're selling houses like crazy. Meanwhile, you didn't sell a house yet, but it doesn't matter. No, they don't know that. They just know, wow, every time I go on Facebook, there you are selling another house. So it's not just about who shows up at that actual open house. It's about the vision that you give to your community.
Can I second that?
Yeah.
Because I was so nervous to get on live, and Jordana really pushed me. And I was like, oh, I never went live before. She was like, you have to. And when I did, I noticed that I got more engagement from the people on my social media. Like, oh, okay, we see you. So even though at the open house, maybe one person came, because I did that live and broadcasted it, I got interactions from people around me and not just the expectations that I had for the open house.
And also the consistency, right? So if you just do it one time, but if you're doing it every week, every other week, those people are going to see, oh my God, you're working all that. This is the top agent. You might be a brand new agent. You never sold a house, like I said, but they don't know that. They just think, wow, this person is a hustler. And when it comes time to buy or selling a house, I'm calling that, right?
Yes.
So maybe no one comes to your open house, but now you just got 5
Yes.
new listings, right?
Yeah.
From your sphere. So going back to the flyer, and that's why it needs to be consistency is important too. If you're deciding that you want to do an open house, doing it one time going, it didn't work. 2 times, it didn't work. It's just not that kind of business. It's a long-term business. The person that you meet today, they may not go online and see you on Facebook. It might be a year till, and that's kind of sounds discouraging, but that's the reality. Is it could be a year till they buy or sell. So, all right. So flyers the week before, email invite, and post the website. Again, I mean, also with the Facebook, with the social media, and I've always been big with social media. And again, it's not for everybody. Some people hate social media and they sell a lot of houses and are very successful. For me, social media has always been, it's free, it's easy. I can get in front of a lot of people, right? For free and easy. I like that. But if you don't like that, then there's other things that you can do. So level 5 is signing the yard with balloons, directional signs, all keys, flyers or key corners, flyers, emails, and go invite the neighbors. And that's something that Jayla has done. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like when people knock on my door. I don't knock on other people's door, and I've been successful doing this, but I could be more successful if I knocked on doors. Not my thing. Once again, that's why you got to decide what you're comfortable doing. But Jayla, maybe you can talk about the door knocking because you've done that.
Yes, I have done door knocking. Personally, I haven't got business from it, but I've met a lot of people in the neighborhoods that I wanted to be in. A lot of people who know the scoop on the neighborhood. You never know who you'll meet in that neighborhood that could possibly give you business. So that's why I like it. I still do it just to meet people and practice interacting with people and talk about real estate.
And you're talking about something too that they are interested
Yes.
in. Everybody wants to know the neighbors, what's going on in the neighbor's house. Like sometimes people say to me, I'm a neighbor, because I'll introduce myself when they come in, I'm a neighbor. It's like, hey, nothing better than a nosy neighbor because you know, because I'll be like, I'm gonna, just put them at ease.
Yeah.
Because I'll say, hey, you better to know who wants to move into their neighborhood. Because they go, and then they might bend the truth a little bit, so you can tell, they go, well, I have a friend's cousin, sister, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, because the truth is they may. And like you said, they may have someone who wants to sell, they may have a friend who wants to buy. Also, you never know when it comes to the price range. I mean, I once, a long time ago, when the prices were lower, did an agent tour of a house I had for $300,000 in Shadyside. So it was a while ago. And I had a young woman walk in, and it was an agent tour back when we did more agent tours. And she walked in and, sometimes you have that feeling like they don't feel comfortable. There's sometimes it's more nervous than you are, like, ooh, what am I supposed to say? And how am I supposed to? And I was very comfortable. I just chatted with her. It turned out she was a student. And I ended up selling them an $80,000 house in Highland Park. So, you can't just say, well, I'm doing the $1 million listing, therefore it's $1 million, or I'm doing a 50. You don't know who these people are, where they're coming from, what the background is. So let's go to level 6. Call everyone that morning and remind them. Again, you can do all of these or none of these, but the bottom line is sometimes, and I'll be quite frank, I see people not even do level 1. So at least pick and choose, Level 7, hold 4 other open houses in the area there. Now that is brilliant, easy, and free. Hold 4 other open houses in the area in various price ranges. Like Jayla just said, and look, I sell all over the place, but at the end of the day, if there's you should identify a neighborhood that you feel you want this to be your core neighborhood. And like, for example, Shayla, I live in Shayla. Right now, out of the 30 houses on the market, 5 are mine. So people know me, I'm involved in the community, but I like that. That's what I enjoy doing. If you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it. But the key is so if I do an open house all the time in Shaler, and I have signs all over Shaler, and I'm involved in community events in Shaler, what are people gonna say? This is someone who knows the area, cares about the area, wants to work in there. It's not gonna happen overnight, by the way. And sometimes it does. Sometimes you're just lucky. Someone walks in and goes, hey, you know what? I wanna buy a house, will you help me? Or I wanna sell a house. And I won't say it's complete luck. It's also, you chose to do an open house that day. If you chose to stay home, it wouldn't happen. So a lot of times it's a combination of luck and work in this business. You got to do both. So, all right. So those are the 7 levels. Obviously, if you can do all 7, great. At least do a few of them. And also the key is really consistency. Now, everybody's a little different with how they like to approach open houses. Sometimes you'll hear training where they say the first thing is to say, are you working with an agent? I don't personally like to do that. And the reason why is I find for myself, it puts me like kind of in an awkward, like, wait, can I talk to you now? Can I not talk to you now? They're just a human being walking in a house. That's all. So I just say, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Jordana with Keller Williams. And I give them a little bit of background, 3 bedrooms. And I also try to feel them out. It's like, okay, this person clearly doesn't want to talk. They just want to look through. And also, and again, everybody's different. Some people insist you must sign in. My thing is, if I force someone to sign in, sometimes they're going to sign in the wrong name just so that they have to sign in. And second of all, the bottom line is if you have people sign in and really make them sign in, what are you prepared to do with that information? If you're going to follow up, if you're going to follow up regularly, and this is a Gary Keller MREA thing, which is 8. So if you're using command, in command, you can put their information in. And then Gary Keller says, when you first meet people, you have to hit them 8 times before they remember you. So if you go, okay, I'm in the open house, I have their name, I create a report, I call. By the way, it is a good idea to call right after the open house. And so if you met them and you feel good about the relationship you have, and you have their info, just call them and say, hey, just wanted to follow up. But if you say, geez, I just followed up the one time, you got to follow up again and again and again. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't do that. I don't do it well. But if you do, that's another good thing to do. So, so that's 8 times. Now they say people in your database, once they're in your database, you have to connect with them 36 times. But 8 times, just so like someone comes to your open house, Amanda goes, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Amanda. This is welcome to 532 Main Street. Okay, thank you. Just want to give you a little bit of background. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Take a look around and let me know if you have any questions. I typically do that. I do not follow people around. I just feel that, first of all, for safety purposes, there are some issues sometimes with safety. You have to be careful of going to the basements with people, and especially if you're in an area that's more remote, or you just feel, I don't know, that's just how I feel. And I also feel like I give them some space. So I said, hey, I'll walk around a little bit with them. And again, I feel the person out. Now I gotta tell you, a friend of mine who's been a successful manager of brokerage for a long time, she was an agent before, and she would say, when people came to my open house, I would say, you look familiar. Well, let's face it, in Pittsburgh, there's a good chance you know someone they know anyway. And they probably do look familiar, but I'm not a liar and I'm authentic. And so, but when along those same lines, find some commonality with the person. Hey, how are you doing today? Oh, great. How are you doing? Do you live around here? I mean, if you feel like they're like, whoa, you're in my business, but remember, they're on your terms. They came to your open house. Now you want to make them comfortable. You're not trying to push anything or anything, but do you have any questions? I don't come and jump, me personally. Some people do. I don't jump on people, give me your name, give me your friend. I sort of just play it cool. But that, again, that's me. And like Amanda said about bringing a book, we talked about that. So let's just say you're going, geez, you know what? I'm really tired now. I don't feel like being here. I'm not getting paid. Again, probably a good idea not to go with that attitude to begin with, but sometimes it happens. You're tired, but you know you got to do it, so you're going to do it because it's your listing. Take the time to do other things. I mean, I've knitted scarves on open houses, but seriously, I've written letters to clients. I've called clients. I've checked on deals. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. So much is the mindset.
Oh, I was told also when you're at an open house, if you are there in the downtime, research the houses that are in the neighborhood.
Yes, excellent. And you should know, absolutely.
Yeah.
And along these lines of the 7th level, when it's a set whole 4 open houses in the area, before the open house, don't just go online. Okay, because a lot of people, the problem is a lot of agents will go, see, I looked online. Well, what are you doing that your client didn't do? You didn't do anything. Go to the house. And well, I don't have a client. Too bad. You don't need a client to go to a house. You should be touring homes regularly to see what the market is. So if you say, okay, 123 Main Street, but I don't have a buyer for this, but there's 10 houses in the area that are 200,000 in Penn Hills that are similar, and someone comes in and goes, well, there's only 10 houses I might be interested in. You go, okay, I looked online and it looks nice. What did you do for them? Nothing. So you need to do your homework too. You need to be the expert, because why else would they want to work with you? And by the way, being an expert is not a number of years or months doing it. You can be a neighborhood expert, brand new, starting out. All you got to do is just get to work. Just get to work. So, every morning people sometimes go, well, I don't know what to do today because I'm self-employed. You know what? There's 20 active listings in your neighborhood. Go look at them. And I don't mean outside. I mean, go in the house. Because what happens is when people come into the home, you'll say, what do you think about this? And by the way, there's a house right over there that's 220. I think the pictures aren't that great, but I think it's a gorgeous house. I think you should consider it. Now you've just given value, right? You didn't just say, well, I went online just like you did, and here you go. You actually, and again, for me, it's about authenticity and coming from the heart. And the reason for me it's authenticity and coming from the heart is because I have to feel good about what I'm doing, because otherwise I'm going to go, I don't want to do this. And going back to that, so much starts with that mindset. And I find a lot of times that's something that happens, especially if you've done a bunch of open houses and nothing happens. You start going, why am I even here? Why am I even doing this? And you may want to stop doing it. But on the other hand, think about what you're trying to gain out of it. And like I said, sometimes it's not going to be anybody coming, or there'll be 2 people or 5 people, or maybe they all have an agent already. And again, me personally, some people say, do you have an agent? I let them tell me that, or maybe during the conversation at some point. I don't like to do that up front because for me, it just puts me in a so am I supposed to talk? I just want to talk to people like a human being. Here's the house. What do you think? I mean, obviously, we all know consumer notice. Don't get too deep if you don't, you're not sure. And at some point you could say, if you're getting into a conversation with people, I just wouldn't personally make it the first thing I would say, but some people train you and tell you to do that. So, okay. So this is actually, I found online and getting ready for the open house. Well, now this says making sure you have 10 open house directional signs. Let's face it, you're not going to probably have 10, and that's fine, especially starting out, but at least 1, because I've seen people with none, so at least 1. Now make sure you have the app for the e-key. Of course, you need to be able to get into the house. The other thing is, if you can, get there a little early. Get there early so you know the house. When people get there, you're not going, I don't know anything about this house. So when someone says, what's the age of the roof? Read the seller's disclosure before you start the open house. Just skim through it real fast. Roof is this, and look, you don't have to have it memorized. So sometimes, oh my God, I don't know the age of the roof. You can say, look, I don't know the answer, because a lot of our job as realtors is we don't know the answers, but we will find the answer for you. So that comes with experience too. Sometimes when people are new, go, well, I'm new, I don't know. Well, I'm not new and I don't know. So Jay was laughing. Sometimes newer people actually know more, many times, experience than people who've been doing it a long time, because you just learned, you're fresh with the contract. You're not set in your ways. So don't ever think, well, I'm new, I don't know. You can be an expert tomorrow if you so choose to. Right, Jayla? Okay. Select your open house. So yeah, I mean, I would also say some people just say, does anyone have an open house? Let me do this. And I mean, personally, be selective. Is that a neighborhood you know? Is that a neighborhood you're going to work in? Is that a neighborhood where you're going to, don't just pick one because someone asks you. I mean, you can, if that's what you want to do, nothing wrong with it. I've done it before. I would just, and by the way, if you're going, well, how do I find out about these open houses? How do I find out where I find an open house? Go on the multi-list, and there's a lot of people who can help you with this. Go on the multi-list and you can look up all the listings in our office. And you can find out what's on the market right now. And you can go to those people and let's just say, oh, Jordana, you have a listing in reserve and I really want to do an open house. Hey, Jordana, can I do an open house at your listing? And I'm going to tell you, as a listing agent, like, that's music to our ears. That's something we didn't have to chase people down to find people.
And even I don't know if you mentioned it, like the office, like Facebook page or stuff. A lot of agents will post in there, like make sure you're friends with the office on
Right.
Facebook. Because a lot of the agents will say, hey, I have a listing, anyone able to do an open house? And they'll post in there and you can hop on open house just like that. And it's a chance to meet other agents in the office as well. Because of course everybody come at different times if you even come by the office.
And let me tell you something about meeting different agents in the office. If that person has a lot of listings and all of a sudden they get a buyer and they're overwhelmed, they're going to remember that you did 5 open houses for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something else I do, not everybody does, but people should, is that, and I learned this from someone else, is if an agent does an open house for my listing, and the buyer comes to the open house and they already have an agent, I give them 10% of my commission. I think that's only fair. When I started, I did an open house for somebody. He said, oh, by the way, my buyers came to your open house and they're going to buy the house. Thanks for doing it. And I hope you pick someone up, which I did, but I still thought that was kind of icky. So I just decided, you know what? I think she's gonna be a big eyeball. I've told you that before.
I've
He
already
knows
big.
Mike has gotten paid, so he's got my 10% before.
No, my eyes are already big. I was just looking.
All right, we have fun around here if you guys haven't noticed. Okay,
some people, I've actually done an open house where they said, like, if you do secure a buyer, you would still pay them a referral fee for holding an open house that they're listing. So it's all depends on the
It
agent,
depends
just so
on-
you know.
And I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
that is how so we're
It's-
all,
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
different.
it's like how you attract
yes.
agents, because if they say, hey, I've seen posts in the actual Facebook page where agents are even like, hey, whoever's secured, like, you know, a buyer 10% or whatever percentage they
Yeah.
want, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So.
oh, so you're supposed to be that.
Yeah,
Well,
so
here's what
just so
I'm
you
gonna say.
know.
So here's what I'm gonna
It
say.
ties back into like. you
Well,
said,
I want
like,
to
the
say
energy.
something as
Mhm.
part of the big picture. Again, this is why we're all independent contractors. We can all do our business however we want. But the thing about, if God willing, Bold comes here someday. And for those people, and J-Lo, she can go through the whole, the groups we're part of that are international that we do a lot of masterminding with every day. But what I'll say is that sometimes, and J-Lo knows I'm going with this, which is sometimes it can be a scarcity mindset of that agent of, oh my God, I could have been there and I could have got that buyer, so therefore you need to pay me. And that is a scarcity mindset, and that's okay. If that's what people want to do, it's okay. But to me personally, if I could, sometimes I have that mindset too. Oh my God, I have bills to pay. I can't believe they were there. I gave them the opportunity. But my attitude, and this is for anybody who has a listing or gets a listing, is I want to create a good relationship with that person. So when I call Mike next time, then Mike, can you please do an open house for me? He's gonna go, this is somebody who I'm gonna get business for myself from. You know, I want that relationship so that this is someone who's helping me with my listing. So I'd like to reward people for helping me. All right, so, and I want to see everybody win. You know, I don't want to see anybody waste their Sundays or Saturdays any more than I want to waste my Sunday or Saturday. And by the way, for those, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, as many, and I'm gonna be quite frank, as many people start in this business every year is quit. It's a revolving door because it seems like, well, I'll just do an open house and make all this. Doesn't happen that way, but it can, you still work really hard. Okay, so going back to this, choose an open house, and we sort of talked about how you can sign one. Research the phone number. Okay, well, again, sometimes you can't call people, but sometimes you can. And so make sure the open house date is listed. That's really important. If you're doing an open house for somebody else, sometimes they will they'll forget to put it in the multi-list. You as an agent, you stay on that. If they don't do it, ask Alana or something, because first of all, it signs, but second of all, if it's not online, no one's gonna find it for the most part, and you're wasting your time, really. Okay, so create open house flyers. Again, if you have the time, energy, and desire, my thing is it's more important to do it than to I think one thing that happens, people, I don't have time to make flyers. I don't have time to book balloons, so I'm just not gonna do it at all. That's a mistake. I don't have a sign. You know what? Have these things, but if you don't have the things, it's better that you go than you don't go. Because you never know, all it takes is one person to walk out the door, and Mike, hopefully you can share that with us here about your experience, and all it takes is one person to come in and go, I need help. So you know what, better to show up. Half of a challenge in any business is just showing up. So again, I copied this from someone. This is a script. I mean, and by the way, with California, script practice is really big part of our business. I used to be so like, but it's not authentic. But the thing about when you practice, then it's kind of like when you learn how to walk as a child or learn English or learn a second language, you have to practice. So you just practice, and then when you're in front of the client, you're authentic. But this is, hello, this is Jordana with Keller Williams. Oh, this is if you're calling them. Thank you for taking my call. I'm hosting an open house in your neighborhood. And that would be something that, like, if you're going to someone's door too, I'm inviting all the neighbors. So some people do that so that it makes the neighbors feel like VIPs. So it's like, whoa, I'm getting a special invite. Some people even do an open house an hour before just for the neighbors. And again, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, which is when a house comes on the market in the neighborhood, you almost always see a house come on after. You always have people say, what's happening there? Why is everybody moving? It just happens that way. Someone sees their their neighbor made an extra 20 grand. Maybe I should move. Maybe I should. Doesn't mean the neighborhood went down. A lot of times people think, oh my God, everyone's moving. That doesn't mean anything. But what it does mean is you might be able to get that listing 2 doors down, right? And a lot of people do.
That's exactly, I got a listing coming up. I'm really just waiting on paperwork from the seller. Literally their neighbor was selling their house. They were fixing it up. Now they're selling their house as is, but it was one of those things where, and it's in a hot neighborhood. It's in 15206, zip code. And the seller was like, I would say, let's wait till they list their house. So when people see, and it's going for like 275 or something like that, I said, so it catches, of course, like investors or whatever, their eyes. So like, okay, they see this house is going for this much in this area. There's another house going in the close to 200 range. They're like, oh, they know when they get this house and they fix it up, they know it. So it's
And
like,
again, you're the expert.
yeah, so we purposely waited for them to, she's sitting on the paperwork, but we purposely waited for them to list, and just so they can see how,
And some people might want to do it. The only con to that is the market can change by that. And now all of a sudden the interest rates went up and they're not getting, I mean, I would never wait for somebody to see how someone else's house goes, but that's not our decision. If that's what they want to do, our job is to educate people. We're advisors. That's how I look at it. So,
The only thing is, it was about to list in like a week. That's why she
Yeah,
knows
that's
the baby.
okay.
That's like, in that case, it
Yeah.
worked.
There's right, exactly. That's going back to there's no wrong or right way. But setting expectations with listing agents, and you guys can read this letter, it says it's not necessary to preview property prior to open houses. I disagree. I think you should you don't have to, like, this is not necessary, but know what the house is. Are you walking in and there's a line out the door and you're going, I haven't even seen that. What are the bedrooms like? I don't know. What about, and some of it is not just that, it's the confidence that you're going, I'm the expert here. It's like if you go up to a makeup counter, it's like you don't have to go, what color lipstick? I don't know anything about this. What the hell am I doing here? So you don't have to study the house. You don't have to spend hours and hours, but I've had people come to me and say, wow, I just went to another open house and they knew nothing about the house.
And this is just, I don't know if you know, do you know if Keller Williams have like a standard brochure for open house? Because like every time I go
Okay,
to like
so
a workshop.
On command,
all of their
there's a
booklets-
ton. There's a ton of command, different designs. If you go on command, there's like 30 designs. You
And
can
I use
pick from.
Canva too. I'm a Canva
Oh, yeah,
advocate.
Canva's
And you
nice.
make one good template and you switch those pictures out. Once you get one good Canva outline, I used to same one every time. I made it and then now I just change out one picture, whatever the pictures are, and that's it.
And that's Canva, but there's also designs. So those have
Yeah.
been already, that's great, but I'm just saying if you just like, geez, I don't want to have to start Canva from scratch. Designs already has, like, all you gotta do is just move your picture. Not only that, in designs on command, you can put the MLS number, so it picks up pictures for you. It couldn't even be easier. They can't make it any easier. So it picks up, so you'll say, okay, 123 Main Street, and it literally brings all the pictures and you just move whatever picture you want over and you print. So yes, Canva if you want to, but if you don't, go to designs. They've made it very easy. And again, here's my attitude. Everybody will tell you something different. It's more important to show up and do the job than to overthink a design, because you could, oh, I don't know, is the design perfect? I'm not just gonna go. Think about that person who's coming to your open house. Are they coming because they're concerned about, sure, they want to see it. If I'm gonna list with you later, I want to see what you've got in the professionals and things like that. But am I worried about the kind of cookies you're serving? I don't know. Does it look nice? Did you present well? Did I think you did a good job? Okay, did I create rapport? But I find a lot of times that people are overthinking the beauty of the layout. Get it done, get it done, get it done. Don't not do it, but it's more important to show up. Okay. So let's keep going on. So it's just this, what should be in my open house bag? Again, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not great at all these things. But these are kind of ideas. And here's another thing I'll be honest with you about. I got green certified many years ago. And I don't know about all, sometimes I just say, you know what? If you have questions, give me your email and I will email you this seller disclosure. Few reasons. First of all, so much waste. You end up printing all this stuff out, people don't take it. Second of all, we live in the day and age of technology. Third of all, now you have their email address, right? So you just, can I see a seller disclosure? Yes, you can. Please give me your email address and I'm happy to send it to you. I don't want, well, then you know that, is this someone you're even gonna work with? Or I already have an agent. Okay, wonderful. Ask, your agent can get it for you. Let me know who your agent is and I'm happy to talk to them. But if their attitudes, oh no, if I can't see it right this second, well, then that's not someone who's serious anyway. They don't want to give their information out because if they want that solid disclosure, they will get their information out. So I think sometimes it's better to, I don't say withhold stuff, but it's, then you can get their information. Because otherwise, you've already given them everything. Why would they want to give you their email address? You can't provide any more value to them. You've done what you did. So again, open house sign-in sheets. Again, you could, there's so many different sign-in sheets I've seen. You know, different ways I've seen them online, and you can do it online now, and you can hook it up to command, and there's all kinds of fancy ways. The key is, the most important thing is legibility. So people are like scribbling. I also say I put in the first line. The reason why is most people are not reading name, address, phone number. They're just doing whatever the person did in front of them. So if that first person only puts their name and email address, then most likely you're going to see everybody else doing the same thing, even though you have a tab there for phone number. So I like to just be the first person. And human nature is someone else did it. Nobody wants to be the first to put a name on something. So it's like, okay, I'll just make up a name and an address and I'll put it neat enough so that they kind of see like, okay, here's what I need to do. Because remember, they're in a hurry. They're just there for, you know, maybe entertainment value, boredom, or they're looking to buy a house, but they're not there to try to make sure, unless you have some sort of packet. And this is another example. You can say, enter to win a $5 gift card, or enter to win, you know, where did I see the ice cream shop in Safety Harbor? How many bubblegum balls are there? If you win, I give you the thing. If you want to do it, that's fine. Again, extra work, not necessary. But if you have those names and email addresses, phone numbers, what are you prepared to do with them? Because too often people are too worried about getting people to sign in and doing nothing about it. So yes, after the open house is where you really want to contact people. So let's go back to this form offering research. So again, this is the research that you're going to do before the open house. And it doesn't have to be that you're doing it all week. If you have an open house at 1 o'clock, go at noon and look at other houses in the neighborhood, and then go to your house at 12:30. You know, it doesn't have to be like hours and hours of your time. But you know, I didn't like what you said. You don't have to go to the house. I mean, then what value are you actually giving? Because you're not doing anything they couldn't do themselves. All right, so the day of open house, make sure you have an open house top bag in the car, whatever. Bring your phone. Well, duh. As Valerie Presley likes to say, duh. Okay, that's part of it. Schedule agent preview for other houses for sale, neighborhood, arrive at the open house. I'm going to be honest, once again, because I'm a very honest person, I do not get there 40 minutes early because I just don't have the time. But if you have the time, go, you know. When opening up the house, ring the doorbell. Okay, sure, fair enough. Also, another important thing, you might not need to get there 40 minutes early. Don't get there late, because the seller is expecting you, they're anxious. And it really also hurts the listing agent, because they're like, why is this person not here? If you're not going to take it seriously, don't go. If you're going to just say, you know what, I'm not getting paid anyway. If you're going to go with a bad attitude, don't schedule it. Don't schedule it, because it's not fair to the seller. It's not fair to the other agent. It's not fair to you, but you got to go with the right attitude. And I say all these things based on, I know it can go the other way for everybody, including myself. So, okay. So greet people. Again, I do agree, stay centrally located. That's something I do also, because if you have other people coming in, you want to be at the front. So someone goes, can you point, I don't need to go with you to look at the toilet bowl. I mean, you can look at the toilet bowl yourself. So I'm staying in the living room or the foyer, and I mean, it was making fun of me because I got a chair, or I sit on, you know, if there's steps, I'll sit on the, and I'm not staying in the hole. First of all, I've got circulation problems with my feet anyway, so I like to sit or walk or something. But if people come in, I feel them out, and then I'll just sit down and go, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm not following them. I'm not hungry for, I need to help you. I need to get this client right now. Some people do, and they do well at it. Not my thing. So, I tend to just let them come to me. Remember, you're the host, so they're on your turf. But on the other hand, you don't want to be overly like, I'm the host, you're on my turf. So they are on your turf, but you want to make them feel comfortable and warm because you want to create a relationship with this person. You're a real person, they're a real person. Why are you here? And then you can start getting, like, going back to the script. You know, one thing that's a big Keller Williams thing is a Ford script. I don't know if you guys heard of it. You can Google it. Ford is
Family, occupation,
Relationships.
recreational, and streams.
so, and you know, you can look that up. And basically, what it is the conversations to have with people. I mean, for me, a lot of times it comes naturally, but again, just to know that. So we can do an example. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Jordana from Keller Williams.
Hi, Jordana.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Take a look around. Let me know if you have any questions. 2 bedrooms, 3 baths, 250,999. And feel free to look around and let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good.
And then maybe if they come back down again, I feel people out there. So what did you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? And you can see kind of people's faces. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
And then would you live close by? But again, authentically, because nobody wants to put like, do you live close by? Ooh, you're stalking me. Yeah. Do you live close by? And you could feel people out there going, okay.
They
Then I
just say
step back.
no, or
I step
yes.
back a little
Yeah. But they say, yeah, look down the street. I love this
Some people are-
neighborhood.
And again,
Like,
another
let's
thing
go
to
to the street.
Another thing to remember with open houses is you want to work with this person. So if you're doing the open house and you're going, this person feels creepy, but I want to try to pick them up. Is this person you're going to work with? If the answer is no, then don't overthink the fact that the relationship's not syncing between you and that person, because you may not want to work with them anyway. Because I think sometimes we overthink, oh, did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? It's like, yeah, but I gotta work with this person, go to all these houses with them, or go into their house. Yeah, they don't want to work with me, that's okay, there's enough business to go around. Mike, can you talk about the experience you had in Lawrenceville when you picked up that seller at the open house and how that all came about?
So the open house was actually on Penn Avenue in the Strip, and it worked out really well for me because basically this was a neighbor investor. So they lived in the area, but this was not primary, and all they were doing was kind of ticking tires, saying, "Okay, what should I do?" And basically, it was the only person that came to that open house, which is fine. We did sell the property, the investment property to her, and it went very, very smoothly. It was just also worked out that she said, "Oh, I think I know you." I'm going, okay.
Here we go, see?
Okay. I mean,
And there's a
I-
chance he does, I mean, that's good for you.
Yes, yes, and she told me where, it was in Pittsburgh Public Theater, I had done poured wine for them, although I didn't recognize them. But, again, the joke is, it's Pittsburgh, we go to a restaurant, first thing you have to do is walk around the restaurant and say, well, since here's the okay, great, next time I was at so-and-so's, you didn't say hello. Gosh, I thought I came to dinner, I didn't come to socialize with everybody in the
But
restaurant.
in our business, that's a great thing, that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing.
No, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Nothing wrong with it, kind of the opposite.
So you're saying basically it's somebody that it turned out, like you said about, you created that relationship. He might have gotten to 5 others, but he goes, this guy looks familiar to me. And that put like that, because we talk about Ford and we talk about the things that are important to that person, that relationship, they need to know that someone they know and they trust, because they're going, I don't know who to use. And now, even though they didn't know, it's like that person, like I was saying about that manager, was like, you look familiar. And a lot of times people do that. So she pulled it on you, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, there was that rapport that was created.
Right.
And can I ask, if you don't mind, about how much of a commission check did you get from that sale?
Final sale price was $205, so $6,000.
Okay, so again, you pay taxes, yes, you have fees, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff. But at the end of the day, was that worth him doing that? Now, how many did you do that you didn't get somebody?
Right.
But at the end of the day, was that worth your, the only reason I bring that up is some people go, oh my God, I just did another one, no, but I didn't make $6,000. You're not just gonna get $6,000 every day all the time. It's gonna be, how many did you do? And I've only over the years had ever one person I knew who like calculated the number of hours they work. It's like, there's gonna be times that you work a lot and there's gonna be times you work a little. But if you like what you do, you're passionate, like you said, if it's a Sunday and you're going, I'm just not feeling it. But I know it's the right thing to be here. And you wanna do, at least do a Facebook video. But if you don't wanna do that, go, I'm just not feeling it, okay, take the 2 hours just to read a book, relax. Don't go in with the right attitude. Because like I said, a lot of times what happens, and it happens to all of us, which is why did I do this? I didn't get paid, nobody came, one person came. And I had, you know, it's funny, I have this thing when people say the word only or just, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. Not that you did it, but a lot of people I hear, especially recently, only 5 people came, only 2 people did this. And you know, Jalen knows what I say, only one person can change the world. And it can change your world and your business. So you have that one person you make sick, and they might know 5 other people, or they might have 20 other investments. So someone I know said, I just sold this place, it's a congratulations, or rented, it got a review, it's a congratulations, it's only a rental. There's no such thing as only. Yeah.
In your opinion, we're all talking about shift. Okay?
Mhm.
Do you think there will be more or less open houses?
Opportunities, you mean, for open houses? I think there will be more opportunities because the houses are not gonna necessarily sell quite as quickly. So you'll probably have more opportunities. And honestly, the beauty of the business right now is, you know, when I was started and things like that, it was in the paper. And you had to do 1 to 4 on Sunday. Now, I mean, you could do 2 in a day. Like I've done sometimes 11 to 1 and 2 to 4, because I'll be on 3 hours at one house, it's just enough for me to pull out my hair. 2 hours is enough, because I've introduced the house enough times, I've introduced myself enough time, I'm ready to get out of there. So, you know, 11 to 1, take a lunch break, 2 to 4. That's the beauty. You can do Saturday 1 to 3. You can do any hours you want, anytime. So, and by the way, and Howard Hanna's big on this, and you know, it doesn't matter what brokerage you're with. I mean, they do it and they're good at it. Twilight tours. So you can do Wednesday at 5 p.m. People come like after work, you know. So it doesn't have to be Sunday or Tuesday. Or if there's a time period that works for you and the seller, let's do it. Let's do it. So yeah, as far as the number of open houses, the question also becomes though, how many people are going to go to every open house? Now I have to say, some of the, like you said about 1 person came, I've done open houses where 60 people came and I got nothing. And you've got one, because all it takes is 1 person. Again, if I look back over the years of what I've done wrong and right with open houses, there have been times when people have come to my open houses that were really busy and I didn't follow up with them. Now, I would say if they call me, great, of course I'll call them back, but I never felt comfortable calling people, like just, hey, because I'll be honest with you, Sunday came and went, then I had to show another house, then Monday came and it was office meetings and laundry, and I just, should I call them now? But I'll tell you what, I've had a number of people who come to my open houses and then they end up buying the house with another agent, which may have happened anyway, but I did not make the effort. I did not do the things I could have done. Again, they may buy anyway with someone else, but at least I know I didn't do the things I should have done. So I know people who are very good at open houses and they pick up a lot of business. And like I said, one of the ways is really the follow up. And they're not just once, like multiple times. It really, like I said, becoming that expert in that neighborhood. So people go, and I've done that before. People, they'll say to me, I see you everywhere, and I see to them, I see you everywhere. And you're creating that relationship with, this is a person who knows this neighborhood. So if you just say, well, I'm just gonna pick random houses throughout because this person asks on Facebook, you can do that, but think a little bit more strategically. So you just sold the house in Lawrenceville, see if other people have them in Lawrenceville, because now you can say, well, I just sold this one, and I just sold that one, and I just went in this one. And you can be now, that's how people become experts in their neighborhoods. You get to be known as the person in that neighborhood. And a lot of times people then come in, say a house in Lawrenceville, and they don't even want it, you know, you don't have help them to buy a house in Penn Hills, that's not even the right area, but you're still an expert. And you're an expert also to give the confidence of knowing what the market is. I got 10 offers on this house. Market's a little bit slower here, so we didn't get as many houses, but houses. By the way, regardless of the market, and but
houses sell in every market, you know, people buy in every market. So there will always be opportunities, and there will always be people who will be top agents in every market. And there will be people who will be consistently top agents for 20 years. And the beauty of this business is it's as little or as much as you want. But the choice is yours, but you gotta do the work. What other questions do you have about open houses? And like I said, I'll send that, if you really want to get really into open houses and you really like, then I'll send you the link for Ronnie DeCarlo, because he is like king of open houses. You know what I mean? If you really want to go all in and that's your thing. And I will say for me, I do believe in finding the things you're passionate about. Some people don't like to go and network. I do. I like to be part of my community. I like to help my community. I like that I get business that way. But I know people who get a ton of business cold calling, as much as you can't do as much of it, but you still can. I know people who, that's all they do is open houses, and they'll say, how'd you get all this business? Open houses. I mean, I hear it and I go, how come I don't have all this business from open house? I'm not doing what they're doing. It's not my passion, but I do it. So again, you have to go with a strategy. Why am I here? And that also comes to why. Why am I here today? What am I trying to accomplish? Because if the idea is I heard someone got a seller and they made $6,000, and why did I get that? Wrong reason. That's not a good reason about knowing that it's possible. Knowing it's possible, but to say if I don't get a $6,000 commission check by doing this open house, I wasted my time. Wrong reason to do it. So. Anybody else have anything? What? Oh. I don't know. Anybody else have anything? I mean, I think, yeah, I think this all started because at one of the meetings, the people at least in science. I mean, I didn't realize that people didn't have, you know, just the basics. So really, at the end of the day, what's that little KISS rule? Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. And but I think the biggest issue, I think, and you guys can find out, is the frustration of, oh my God, I did all this stuff and nothing happened. And maybe I should waste my Sunday next time.
But you can say that about anything. Would you say about coal expires, and about coal Facebook?
Exactly.
Anything that you do.
Yeah.
But to me, the bottom line is sales. If you don't do it, you don't get anything. So it's not saying what you want.
Yeah, that's right. And I think a lot of people get into this thinking, they hear, and in fairness, I think some recruiters, I don't know where, but they will say, look at the check you could get. You could get the $6,000. You can, and you can also get zero. So it's, but it's everything in between. But at the end of the day, you have to be passionate about it, and you have to feel really good about it. And your mind, and going back to mindset's everything. I mean, it starts with having the right attitude. And that can be hard sometimes, because you know, you might be tired going, I don't want to work Sunday. I don't want to work Saturday. I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting paid. But you go with the right attitude, you'll almost always get something good. Something good will come of it. Anybody have anything else? I'm like, that's it. I don't know what else I can tell you about open
I
house.
think you've done a great job.
Yes,
Aw,
thank you.
thank you. Yeah, I mean, again, my attitude is everybody, my attitude is we all have, you have to find, and if you're new or if you're not new, what are you passionate about? Whatever brings you that passion. Are you passionate about community? Are you passionate about a neighborhood? Are you passionate about, I'm looking around, are you passionate about, you know, what are you passionate about? Do that. But when it comes to open houses, always remember it's about exposure. It's not about the number of people who come in that open house. It's about the fact that you are making a name for yourself. And so that social media and connecting with people and following up, that's really the key. And like I said, going in with the right attitude and consistency. Oh, geez, I just did 5 and nothing happened. Do 6, do 8, do 10, do 12. That's the business that we're in, you know. Well, if anybody has any other questions, you know, feel free to reach out to me anytime, but that's all I got for you.